I'd like to call on Tara, who's co-PI, as we call them in academia, a principal investigator for this project, to introduce you to the steering committee and the external advisory group of Aclú.
Hello everybody, it's lovely to have you all here and to those online as well. I'm just here really initially to introduce you all to our wonderful steering committee and to thank our external advisory board. So our steering committee has got colleagues from across MTU and the HSC. So first of all, there's Catherine, there's me, we've got Mairead Carolan, a senior clinical psychologist with the HSC, and Elaine Bresnahan as her colleague is here as well. We've also got Sarah, Indica and Aisling here with us, and Michael Hall, the PhD, Michael Hall, their head of department from the Health and Leisure as well. Thank you to Gerard and Sarah for all your work you've done in setting this up for us today. We really appreciate it. We've also got Breda O'Dwyer here, Director of SEED, and we thank you for the funding that you've allowed for us here to enable for this launch to take place. We appreciate that very much. And we've also got John O'Keefe here as well from, I haven't met you yet, John, but you're here, so it's lovely to meet you. Thank you, and I'll meet you afterwards, I'm sure. And we've also got May O'Leary, who's a colleague of mine in the Department of Sport, Leisure and Childhood Studies in Cork. So we've got colleagues from across the Cork and Kerry campuses together, and it's wonderful. And as Catherine has said, to the fact that we've never actually met, and the project has worked so wonderfully so far. We've all met on weekly, and we've all grown to actually have fun at the same time, collaborating. It's wonderful to get to know people and get experiences, and I'll also have to say it's wonderful to have the HSC on board, because then you have an idea of how something's going to work, and then you've got Mairead and Elaine who steps in, who end up saying that's not going to work, do it this way, and that's the wonderful design of this project and how we want to do the bottom-up approach. And so we're really looking forward to the continuous collaborations and the weekly meetings that we have together to help steer this project forward. We also have our very first external advisory board meeting tomorrow, and we're very excited about it. So we've got John Farrelly here, who's kindly agreed to act as our chair for tomorrow. Thank you for that. We are really looking forward to hearing our keynote speakers that are also going to be there, Kelly, Joseph and Evan, and we've also got a wonderful broad spectrum of people. So we've also got Julianne from Enable Ireland here with us tomorrow for our meeting. We've got Brenda from Kerry Peer Support Network. We've also got Rachel Palmer, who is the adult mental health dietitian at the HSC, the only one in the region. So you can see already how that is a huge challenge for Rachel, who unfortunately can't be here today, but has a wonderful angle of approach that will help us develop this project, and the nutrition angle of side of things and dietetics, because it's not just the mental health, it's the physical health of these service users that we would like to support this programme with. We've also got Gerard O'Doherty from the Kerry Sports Partnership on board, and we've also got the Mayor of Tralee, Mikey Sheehy, who's also going to be joining us. We have Pamela Wicker, and we also have Elizabeth Wycherley. So we have a wonderful broad spectrum of experts that are going to help us steer Aclú in the direction that it needs to go. And we really look forward to the outcomes of that meeting tomorrow and to feeding them back to you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Tara. I mentioned what the Aclú term is about and the origins of that term. So just to say, in relation to the area of enduring mental illness, the United Nations Special Rapporteur on Mental Health affirms that we must move behind frozen biomedical models, and this is a statement from the UN General Assembly in 2020. The UN General Assembly are meeting again this week, and the inclusion of comments like this at the UN General Assembly reflects the evidence from research, from practice that had come heretofore. So this, and I suppose the Lancet Mental Health Commission review on mental health, produced and summarised a lot of the research outcomes that we have known around enduring mental illness for a long period of time. And the consensus is we're not doing enough, we need to do more. We don't need more research in some respects, we need action, and meaningful action that makes a difference to people's lives on the ground. So the fact that this is here again, being launched here today, I think, is in response to those key calls that have come from UN agencies, have come from academia and the Lancet Mental Health Commission and stakeholders on the ground who recognise that the treatment and services that are available are maybe not enhancing their health to the best way possible, in the best way possible. So that's one of our primary aims around Aclú. So there's a lot of research into the background of it and why we've chosen this direction and this path. So what we aim to do with this is reframe mental health treatment, which is a system level approach, which is not the easiest thing to do, hasn't happened to date, but we're definitely, that is what we want to do with Aclú and make these changes sustainable into the future so as we're not at this stage again. We have the multidisciplinary approach. We're encompassing solutions that involve physical activity, nutrition, digital. More components could be added to that in time, but at the moment, they are 3 areas that the research evidence points to are really worth implementing in interventions that deliver positive health outcomes for people with enduring mental illness. They've never really been studied collectively and together, so that's the difference that Aclú will also make. We were producing research outcomes on that. We align with the human rights approach, which is very much the approach of the HSE and very much the approach that I suppose our UNESCO chair is driven by human rights and sustainable development approaches. So making sure that the human rights of those with enduring mental illness are addressed in the treatment paradigms that they're involved with. If the other component of this is looking at evaluation, scaling, social return on investment and outcomes contracting. So I mentioned at the start that we want to reshape the paradigm of care for mental health treatment. We won't be able to do that unless we can present the evidence. So saying that our intervention worked, people enjoyed it, they liked it, might not be enough to change the minds of policymakers, of investors, public or private, stakeholders who have the capacity to change the system. So built into our Aclú project is very much that human rights approach in education and training, and also an approach that will make sure that as we evaluate, the indicators that we use will be able to demonstrate the return on investment on this approach and how this approach can deliver better health outcomes at a more efficient level financially for the HSE or any other providers who are in that mix. And there's a little bit more about that financial model, which we'll come to later. But they're the main areas that we wanted to cover. I mentioned it's SDG week. I'm not going to spend long on this slide. The key target of the SDGs that we're addressing with Aclú is target 3.4, reduce mortality from non-communicable diseases and promote mental health. So that's the key target. There are 17 SDGs, there are multiple targets, there are multiple principles. That's the key target we want to address. So improve the mental and physical health outcomes for people with enduring mental illness.